Mr. Secretary, thank you again to you and your team for being here today. And I too must add my accolades for Kevin Keefe, my District 8 executive, and his entire team, that they do great work across York County. I too am very grateful that he continues to take my phone calls along with those of my team, and I always appreciate his collaboration. I'm going to need you to stay with me for a minute on this question. Okay. So, Mr. Secretary, one of the biggest policy challenges that this Commonwealth faces is ensuring that our residents and our businesses have access to affordable electric power for their homes, for their schools, for the hospitals, for our businesses. And as energy demand grows, transmission infrastructure is needed to ensure affordable and reliable power for all Pennsylvanians. Using existing interstate highway right-of-ways could lower costs. It could speed up deployment, and critically important to the district that I represent, could reduce the impact that we have experienced to preserve farmland, which seems to always be targeted for the deployment of high voltage power transmission lines to feed our energy negligent neighbors to the south in Maryland. So, given that there is no federal prohibition on such use, would you and your department be willing to work with legislators to reconsider its current policy and explore allowing transmission infrastructure within our interstate right-of-ways?
So I've heard this, Senator, for the first time in the last 6 months, and I'm happy to consider proposals that ensure the safety of the motoring public. It will matter greatly to me where we're talking about, which right-of-way we're talking about using along the interstate network. So without consuming too much of your time, you have a commitment from me that we're happy to work with you to see if there are opportunities in that regard. I understand the essence of your question. I understand the challenge with respect to the electric grid. We'll see if there's a way that we can do that in a safe manner. The other dynamic that some of the engineers will be concerned about is surrendering right-of-way where we may have to construct an expansion of the roadway of some sort, but we'll work with you.
I would very much appreciate that, and I believe my constituents would very much appreciate that as well. Turning to the finances of the Commonwealth and your budget in your department, your budget requests a 25% increase in the Highway Systems Technology and Innovation appropriation, going from $20 million to $25 million. Can you explain the significant increase in this fund?
Chuck, I'll let handle that one.
Yes, that used to be 16 million years and years ago. Then it went down to zero where it was all added and done within the maintenance appropriation. A few years ago, we pulled it out again. And that 25 million is really just to fund the current expenses that are being paid out of the maintenance appropriation. They're for the camera centers, and so it can be a maintenance expenditure, but this is just to make it more transparent and what the expenditures we believe truly align. So it would be with that appropriation, because they're currently being paid out of maintenance, out of the county budgets.
So is it an increase, or is this just a shift within the budgeting documents to true things up?
A little bit of both. The cost is increasing for that program, but it's more aligning the budget.
So is the increase in that program and the shifting of it into this line item, what is the true increase in that cost?
Would have to, we can get you that. I don't know what the true, but it's based on a couple different factors. We can get you that. I don't have it off the top of my head.
So does the proposed amount of $25 million, does it fully account for the Highway Systems Technology and Innovation related costs, or are you putting additional costs into that?
We're not, this is not a program change where we're adding anything new. It's just that alignment, but I don't know that even that would cover the true cost, because there's some things that, like I say, would charge to our maintenance appropriation.
So can I just ask you this? We look at this year, right? We understand we are appropriating for this year, but to be responsible as we move forward in out-year budgets, if that $25 million isn't the full amount, can you explain why the governor's budget shows level funding for this line item in subsequent budget years?
And I would say that goes back to the gas tax discussion overall. The same thing with our maintenance appropriation. We keep it relatively flat. We just don't have the revenues to increase it without drastically reducing construction. Because the maintenance appropriation over that same time period, which housed our district and county offices, there's definitely expenditures there, but we're just having to offset them within that appropriation because of revenues, really.
Very good. Thank you for taking on that explanation.